basically, our statistics remain fairly stable. Grand Forks continues, and the boundary area continues to be one of the lowest crime rates in the province of BC. So I mean, we're certainly not up there as high as other communities, and I think I've noted that towards the end of the report. We are on the lower end of crime rates. So Grand Forks and the boundary in general is a very peaceful area. We do have our problems, and we do have to remain vigilant, and we do require the support of this community, this council, and the city to help keep our community safe. And I most of you have had the opportunity to view the report. Probably the biggest highlights is quite frankly, we had a very difficult summer last summer with the resource shortages that caused some significant issues for us, including the fact that our members here in Grand Forks had to supplement the Midway unit. Caused an awful lot of grief for both our staff and for the citizens in regard to the local policing support within the boundary region. I'm very pleased to say that problem has been rectified. Midway detachment is now at full strength, and they have a full complement of members, along with their new Corporal Kevin Christensen, who's taken over. And Kevin came to us from the Soyuz, the Integrated Border Enforcement Team, where he worked in federal policing. Prior to that, Kevin was stationed at Salmon Arm as a general duty police officer, so has a great deal of experience, and he has certainly been a big attribute for us in Midway. We also have some new personnel that I've noted in the file for you to, or in the report for you to see. We are now at full strength in Grand Forks. Our unit is negotiated again with the Regional District Kootenay boundary to bring in a reserve constable for Christina Lake for a period of 2 months during July and August. That of course helps out by having that extra resource at Christina Lake, takes the burden off our members here. So all in all, I think this summer will not be a repeat of last summer as far as our resource shortages, which obviously had an impact on crime rates. That was very noticeable in September when we almost got back up to full strength, when immediately we started taking some pretty strong enforcement action in regard to traffickers and methamphetamines in this community. 4 of them were actually sentenced to jail time. And noticeably, after that occurred, our property crime in Grand Forks went down significantly. The same thing happened throughout the boundary area. Midway detachment as well concentrated on prolific offenders and methamphetamine and cocaine traffickers. As a result, we've seen some significant increases in that type of drug enforcement. That is our target. As you will notice in the report as well, our plans for the coming year, we basically will be concentrating on prolific offenders. Those people, basically 20% of the criminals who are doing 80% of the crime, those are the people that we'll be targeting on. We've had a great deal of success recently in the courts with the convictions, and one of the strange things that has happened is we're finding that prolific offenders who are brought back to court for breaches of probation or breaches of conditional sentence orders are actually being sentenced to jail, which they're getting more for breaching their conditions than they are for the original offense. So the local judges, I think, are, quite frankly, I think they're getting tired of seeing the same faces in court whenever they come, and they're certainly starting to take a little more action, and certainly recognizing that these are people that are causing a great deal of trouble in our community. So they're dealing with them effectively. That will remain our primary target as prolific offenders. Secondary target of the same priority, obviously, is those that are trafficking in methamphetamines in our community and in crack cocaine. We've seen a disturbing trend recently within the drug community of polydrug use. In the past year, we've had 2 sudden deaths involving overdoses where multiple drugs were found in the bodies of the deceased, indicating that they're taking everything from prescription drugs such as morphine, OxyContin, and mixing them with other illegal drugs as well, which is causing a very dangerous situation for the drug using community. It's a problem, and it's certainly something we're deeply concerned. Support for citizens on patrol, both in Grand Forks and a new Citizens on Patrol that was brought online last July in Christina Lake. So very strong organizations, both of them, very dedicated people who are providing a wonderful service to this community, and they are the extra eyes and ears on our streets that are helping us to maintain peace and good order in our community. We're also working extremely closely and very hard with our Boundary and Grand Forks Restorative Justice Program. Recently been a major change in that organization with a new chair and a new board of directors, and we've seen just some excellent development happening, and we've had some really good successes.